Well, the trade war and slowing global growth have proved to be a drag on some companies' quarterly results, but not all. That's just one of the trends emerging at the halfway point of earnings season. Bob Pisani reports from the New York Stock Exchange.
There's good news and there's bad news about earnings. The good news is we're halfway through earnings season. We managed to avoid an earnings recession, 2 straight quarters of negative earnings growth, and corporate guidance for the second half has not collapsed. Earnings are essentially flat for the second quarter compared to the second quarter of last year. 76% of companies are beating. That's right in line with the recent average. But there's some warning signs for investors. First, stocks are pretty pricey right now. There's very little room for missteps. Second, clarity on global growth is, well, to put it mildly, pretty elusive. And the trade wars and slower global growth are clearly having an impact on earnings. Companies that generate more than half of their revenues overseas are seeing declines in their earnings of about 10% on average, but companies with less than half of their sales from overseas that are more domestically focused, on average, they're seeing gains of 6%. That's a big difference. Finally, the markets are becoming a lot more dependent on looser monetary policy from the central banks to cushion the blow from slower global growth. But it's not clear that global central bank magic is always going to work wonders. The market's biggest fear is that central bank rate cuts may, in the future, no longer provide any big boost to global growth or to corporate earnings, implying central banks are essentially running out of bullets. Well, if that happens, you're going to see earnings guidance come down dramatically. But it's not happened yet. While the most dire warnings of the bears have not come to pass, they do have a point, though. It's tough to be bullish when the S&P 500 is up 20% for the year, earnings are flat, and there is so little clarity on global growth. For a Nightly Business Report, I'm Bob Pisani at the New York Stock Exchange.